Good afternoon. I am very happy to be here and happy to be here as Chairman in Office of the OSCE and to have the opportunity to speak to you together with my friend, Secretary General Thomas Greminger. It was a true honor for me to speak before the Permanent Council today to outline the priorities of the Italian chairmanship in 2018. I would like especially to thank the Austrian chairmanship, from whom we have taken the baton, for their excellent work in 2017. Italy is proud to have assumed the chairmanship of this prestigious organization. We believe deeply in the role of our international organization, which from its very inception at the 1975 Helsinki Conference has made an extraordinarily important contribution to peace and security in Europe. We have chosen very clear themes which we have brought together under the motto Dialogue, Ownership, and Responsibility. This is the motto that we have chosen for our chairmanship, and these are the pillars upon which we intend to revive the spirit of Helsinki in its most authentic formulation. I would like at this time to quote the Italian Prime Minister at the time, Aldo Moro, who said, with respect to Helsinki, that it provided guideposts towards the future. So it is up to us now to determine whether between 1975 and today we have created a better future. Certainly, in this time, the OSCE has become a heritage of values, beginning with respect for human rights, and it is a shared commitment by 57 countries. It is the largest security organization that exists to ensure collective security, which is able to evolve in light of new global challenges. Let me not repeat what I said during my introductory comments, because these were open to the press, and so I will not emphasize the priorities which I have already outlined. And let me now give the floor immediately to Secretary General Thomas Greminger.
Thank you very much, Minister, Chair in Office, dear Angelino. I very much welcome Italy's chairmanship of the OSCE 2018. And I do look forward to working very closely with you, Angelino, with your strong delegation here in Vienna under the leadership of Ambassador Alessandro Azzoni, your task force, Italy's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation over the course of next year. It is the second time that Italy chairs this organization. The last time was 1993. When we were still the Conference on Security and Cooperation in Europe. And the document adopted by ministers in Rome a quarter of a century ago was entitled, "Our Security is Indivisible." A message that is still as relevant to all participating states today as it was 25 years ago. Yes, we are facing very challenging times. Everybody stated it in their interventions just in the Permanent Council. But we have also seen points of progress in recent weeks. Let me just mention a few of them. A fresh momentum in the Transnistrian settlement talks. A momentum that has led to confidence-building measures adopted and implemented that tangibly improve the daily lives of people on both banks of the Yester River. We've seen the ministers of the participating states of the OSCE reaffirming their commitment to build on the OSCE's groundbreaking set of confidence-building measures on cybersecurity. We've seen the active engagement of participating states in the OSCE Structures Dialogue on the current and future security challenges in the politico-military area. And When it comes to the crisis in and around Ukraine, we have just witnessed a substantive exchange of detainees that hopefully creates a positive dynamic for further measures, having a positive impact for the people on the ground. What is key here is that even in these times of seeming division, disunity and mistrust, our participating states can still come together to talk and to work on resolving critical security challenges of our time. Foreign ministers underscored the OSCE's vital role in the security architecture of Europe just a month ago at the Ministerial Council here in these very premises. They recognized the OSCE as a space for inclusive dialogue. And many of them also voiced strong support for ensuring that the OSCE has the resources it needs to carry out its work effectively. And I'm glad that you did so in your intervention just before 2. So I would urge delegations of our participating states here in Vienna to constructively engage with our Italian chairmanship colleagues in the coming weeks to reach agreement on the organization's 2018 budget, so that the OSCE can continue its work without interruption or delay. It may sound counterintuitive to you, but it is indeed very costly to work without an adopted budget. I fully stand behind the Italian chairmanship's stated goal to strengthen multilateralism, to strive for effective multilateralism as a means to build peace, security, and stability. We are indeed more effective when we work together to address the common challenges facing our region. Together with my colleagues across the OSCE, I'm ready to facilitate Italy's chairmanship of the OSCE, and I look forward to working very closely with you, Angelino, and your colleagues over the course of this year.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary General. Voi non avete partecipato.
You did not participate, or you did not hear the discussion that took place after my statement. So let me take advantage of the press conference to let you know that the discussion was very frank, very open, very clear. There was no hypocrisy. It was extremely specific and concrete. And I think that this is a very important signal in the OSCE context, which provides effectiveness to multilateralism. In order to be effective, multilateralism must be based on friendship. And for friendship to be sincere, it must be frank and clear in its language as well. And this was true of the debate that followed my initial statement. I'd also like to add that I would like to take advantage of the presence of Professor Paolo Severina and as well Professor Salvatore Martinez, and I'd like to ask them to come here for a photo. These are two new special representatives. Professor Severino is a law professor and rector of the Luis University under the aegis of the Minister of Justice. She was Minister of Justice in the Monti government and signed one of the broadest laws countering corruption in Italy. And this also focused, of course, on transnational corruption, which is an important element in our combat against it in the OSCE. And so she will assist in this area. And Professor Salvatore Martinez is the president of the Italian Observatory on Religious Minorities and has great experience in this area, and he is the special representative for the fight against discrimination and racism and xenophobia. And I think that he is highly qualified for this position. What is more, we have established the Italian chairmanship that will begin with an important event in Rome on combating anti-Semitism, and we believe that this is in keeping with the philosophy of the human rights dimension, and that it is very important. So I wanted to introduce you to these new special representatives who you will meet in the coming hours with other special representatives. This is not only a gesture to note the agreement, but also to pay tribute to the high quality of the work that is done. And I aspire to coordinate common actions together with these new partners in cross-cutting areas. Thank you very much. You will be able to speak with them directly in future. Thank you.
Giudica del Austrian Press Agency. Signor Ministro.
Minister, one of the priorities of the Italian chairmanship is the migration crisis in the Mediterranean. And here, Italy has been left alone in recent years. Do you think that the situation will improve through discussion of this issue at the OSCE? And what are the specific measures that are planned by the Italian chairmanship? We have identified in the Mediterranean issue an Italian priority because it is from the Mediterranean that so many global security challenges emanate. I think of the return of foreign fighters, for instance, and from the point of view of the political stability of that area, it is a political, an absolute political priority to create security in that context. With respect to the migration issue, I think that only a global approach, including security and integration, will work. This is the largest European organization. There are many Europes. There is the Europe of the 27 countries of the European Union and the Europe of Schengen, which has different members. There is the Europe of the Euro, which has another number of participants. The Europe of security and cooperation is the largest Europe. This is not a place for internal discussions of the European Union. Rather, it is a place for us to find an innovative approach that focuses on providing a spirit of solidarity to the security dimension, and our discussions of this morning went precisely in this direction.
Luis Lidón from the Spanish news agency EFE. How is going to affect the next election in Italy to your chairmanship, Mr. Alfano? Because there is the possibility that you are not longer or not going to be again Minister of Foreign Affairs. Thank you.
Democracies have a great privilege. That is, from time to time, we vote. And so what happens in Italy in 2018 is quite natural, and it will take place at the constitutional point in which the mandate ends, that is 5 years. So this is a natural event. And in the Italian political tradition, we have something which is often not emphasized or highly valued, and that is great continuity in our foreign policy. Ours will be a transition of government, not because there is a crisis in the government, but because we are arriving at the time for a new legislature and the judgment of the people. I can assure you, because it is part of our Republican tradition of 70 years in the Italian Republic, that there is great continuity in foreign policy. And as I have followed the guidelines of my predecessors in Italian foreign policy, I am certain that the same will hold true in future.